Hello, motivators. It is a pleasure to see you again in this night in midweek when you actually can choose to do other things, to scroll mindlessly through social media, to stalk through your crush that you can't really have, but you choose to be here to develop the public speaking skill with us. Thank you very much for your enthusiasm. Let's share the enthusiasm within each other. If possible, could you please turn on your camera and we can share the spirit of motivators. We are here as Jakarta Motivator Toastmasters, an English public speaking community, because we believe that public speaking skill is something that needs to be nurtured, not to be learned just by one long workshop, which may cost you like 2 million rupiah or more, but we choose to nurture our public speaking skills regularly. Perhaps just 2 hours, but we can do it weekly or bi-weekly, because consistency is important to improve our skills, and we can gain significant result in the end by gradually increasing our skill level. That is why we are here. And to sharpen our capacity, we acquire international curriculum from Toastmasters International, a well-known public speaking and leadership organization, which has a lot of clubs worldwide. That is why in Toastmasters, we are a whole world of leaders. And thank you very much for joining here. Basically, this is a casual meeting, so we use not just the typical Toastmaster setup, but we utilize more in speech. And this meeting is conducted by Toastmasters of the meeting. Generally, we call it MC, but in typical Toastmasters meeting, Toastmasters of the meeting. And for tonight, I would like to welcome you, our Toastmaster of the meeting, Toastmaster Bahtiar Manurung.
We start already?
Yes.
All right. Hey, okay, let me see I wanna have a look at. All right.
Yeah, bro.
I wanna set up the view into gallery. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Let's give a big applause, please, to our Toastmaster, President of Motivators, Toastmaster Hans. Many of you probably don't know that Toastmaster Hans is a person with many talents. He can play piano, he can play guitar, he's good at running from reality. He's jack of all trades, master of none. By the way, many of you probably don't know me. Let me introduce myself to you. My name is Bahtiar. I'm a CC, competent communicator, according to Toastmaster, but not according to my wife. So I'm 25 years old, 25 years ago. But seriously though, the reason I'm attending this meeting is because I'm so happy. I just turned 46 years old yesterday. Yeah, I'm 46. I know people say that I look younger than my age. You know, my friends always say, you know, what is your secret of staying young? And I answer them, well, my secret is I am young at heart, right? I believe it's never too late to chase my dream. I believe my future is bright. So basically, my secret of staying young is being delusional. But I gotta tell you guys that I never really feel special on my birthday. Really. Every birthday, you know, I say to my wife, today is my birthday. It's my day. And my wife goes, today is 8th March. It's International Women's Day. It's my day. sorry guys, 8 March is my birthday. And I told my son yesterday, you know, buddy, today is my birthday. I want to go out to watch a movie. I want to be treated special. I want to have the best seat in the theater. And my son goes, okay, Dad, I will let you sit at the front row without popcorns. But anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about today's meeting. Today's meeting, the theme for today's meeting is books for growth. I have a question for you guys by raise of hands. How many of you have read more than 5 books after graduating from university? More than 5 books. Right, good to see that. How many of you have stopped reading books after graduating from universities? How many of you have forgotten what a book looks like? Yeah, there are many studies that says that people, most people stop reading books after graduating from universities, right? But not me, because I like reading books. I'm a bookworm. In fact, during the early pandemic, I bought many books online, but I cannot bring the books outside the house because they are in self-quarantine. The other day, I bought a book titled How to Be Rich. So I opened the book. The first page says, save your money. Stop buying books on how to be rich. Well played, well played. But seriously, guys, I love self-help books. Just today, I saw a book in the internet titled The Power of Now. Have you seen it? The book seems interesting. I plan to buy it someday. Okay, thanks for those who get it. Last one, the other day I read a book on how to get rid of insomnia. The book is so boring, man. I fell asleep. All right, let's make a big applause to all of us. If you can turn on your audio. We're gonna have a yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you if you enjoyed that not so funny one. Anyway, today's gonna be special because this is informal. Informal meeting, meaning to say the exco didn't really prepare the meeting properly. Is that it? I don't think that's the meaning. I think it means we don't have grammarian, etc., etc. We can make mistakes as we like. We have 3 sessions for today. First session is international speech demo, and then followed by evaluation speech demo. And then after that, we are going to have table topic session, a session that been waited by everybody on the screen, I believe. So the purpose of international speech demo is for the speakers to prepare themselves for the area contest. Let's give a big applause, by the way, to Toastmaster Hans and Toastmaster Redika for winning the club contest. If I'm not mistaken, they won the club contest because they are the only participants. But anyway, congratulations for that. So let's start. We are going to listen to international speech demo from the first speaker. After that, I'm going to invite every one of us, but started with senior member of Toastmaster Motivator Toastmasters to give roundtable feedback. So the first speaker, Hans, against the barrier. Against the barrier, Toastmaster Hans.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever felt that something is blocking you from achieving your truest potential? Raise your hand if you feel that currently. Or Do you feel that there is a giant barrier which is standing against you when you want to achieve something, or if you want to take part in something that excites you? Okay. Thank you very much for your participation. We know that it is natural for us to feel the particular barrier on one side. And the barrier looks really big that we think that we can't really get through it. We can't really jump through it. I'm not a delusional motivator who just talk, just go over it. Because I would like to share one of my experience on dealing with barrier, how to jump against the barrier. It was my experience back in 2019 when I participated in an ultra marathon event. It was actually my first time participating in a running event, and it was ultra marathon already. No worries, I did not run that long. The race was conducted from Jakarta to Bandung, but it was a relay of 18 runners. So I did not run 200 kilometers, but I ran about 13 kilometers. Still impressive for a first-timer, because previously my running record only in self-training was just 4 kilometers. So how could I jump against the barrier from 4 kilometers to 13 kilometers in about 3 months? Actually, my experience, how could I be assigned to the 13 kilometers? Because the distance were various among the runners. So when we deployed the running position, I did not see my phone. At the time, the WhatsApp group of our runners were very busy. They chose their favorite spot. And once I realized, I picked my phone, looking through the group, and there was one spot left, the longest distance uphill at Puncak, 13 kilometers. I felt two extreme conditions. On one side, wow, it will be very challenging for me. But on the other side, could I achieve it? So first of all, I activated my desire by visualizing in my mind the two extreme conditions. What could happen if I succeeded? And what could happen if I failed? If I succeeded, I would feel the sense of accomplishment, celebrate with the team, and I would flex it on Instagram. Impressive enough to be noticed by your class, right? On the other side, if I failed, I would be a burden for my team, because when one runner failed, it means that the team could not be considered as finisher. So imagine the deep regret if I fail. That was my first practical tip. Activate your desire by visualizing both extreme conditions. Because if we visualize it, we set our eyes on the prize. But it was not enough. Desire itself was not enough. We need to make it into reality by tracking our progress. I can't run from 4 kilometers and improve myself into 13 kilometers out of nowhere, right? I needed to track my progress gradually. So I recorded every practice within those 3 months of preparation. The first month, I could increase my record from 4 kilometers into 5 kilometers. Not impressive. The second month, so we have 1 month left from 5 kilometers into 10 kilometers. That was the power of compound interest. In the beginning, we felt like our progress were so small, so slow, but we accumulate it later on. If you are into investment, I think you get the point. So my second tip is track your progress. And after that, we know that the only certain thing is uncertainty. There were adversities, there were uncertainties, sudden problems occurred. When I ran, and also during preparation, there were a lot of uncertainties, a lot of surprises. And I need to deal with it by improvising within guidelines. We can change the plan, but not the guidelines, because our main goal was to achieve it, was to be the finisher. But perhaps I could finish slower. It was still tolerable. I could walk sometimes. It was still tolerable. But the goal, it was to finish, and it was non-negotiable. So to wrap up, let's do it against the barrier by activating your desire, tracking your progress, and improvising within guidelines. This is not a delusional motivational speaker when we were indoctrinized by the buzzwords of just do it, just deal with it, you will find a way. But we need to do the reality check by cherishing every progress that we have made. And after all, even if we feel that we don't really jump against the barrier, if we see our progress and if we look back, our past self will thank us for it, for the things that we have done. Thank you. Back to our Toastmaster of the meeting.
Let's give a big applause, please, to Toastmaster Hans. Wow, what an inspiring speech. You really inspire me with your work hard, hard work. You ran ultra marathon, you achieved 13 kilometers out of 200 kilometers target. So inspiring. Okay, let's continue with the second speaker. The second speaker, Radhika. Learn to soothe ourselves. Learn to soothe ourselves, Radhika. Radhika will deliver her speech through recorded speech.
Let's start the contest. And fellow Toastmasters and guests, please welcome Ms. Radhika Riasari. Learn to soothe ourselves. Learn to soothe ourselves, Ms. Radhika Riasari. The screen is yours.
Thank you, Contest Master. Some things are up to us, and some are not up to us. Our opinions are up to us, and our impulses, desires, aversions, in short, whatever is our own doing. But our bodies are not up to us, nor are our possessions, our reputations, or our public offices. That's what Epictetus say in one of his words, Acretion. There is no one size fits all when it comes to overcome an emotional distress. Every single one will cope with emotional peak differently. So do I. In my case, I've been practicing stoicism to remain calm. Since I'm calling for myself, that I'm actually still struggling to become calm. Part of it is by doing journaling. The term amor fati is first introduced by German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche around 1882. It means love of it. Oftentimes, we face an unintended outcome from certain circumstances, and each of us will have a different primary reactions to it. Some of us will respond negatively to certain occasions, and some others who are able to control themselves will be able to react less intrusively. The concept of amor fati is greatly intertwined with being a stoic, a concept that echoes the same to Epictetus' saying that we shouldn't seek for things to happen the way it happened. What happens happen the way it happens, then you will be happy. And journaling helps you to reflect back on your action and practice the stoic mindset that I just mentioned. At least there are three core concepts of stoic mindset that can be of great help for us to tackle unintended situations. First is all embracing. Writing a journal is one of many ways to channel our emotions. When things go slightly off the beat, right? When everything seems to upset us, right? When you feel like throwing everything from life's inconveniences, right? Right, so you will start to grow this all-embracing attitude and grow the amor fati concept and just embrace whatever come through your way or surprises that come to your life. Because the outcome of situations isn't within our control. I've practiced this myself. I would just blow everything up on my journal and let her have a long deep breath before I start to realize and to embrace what has happened. I cannot change it, after all. The event has passed, and what I have is a right now, the present times. That's the period that I can eventually fix, that I can eventually change. And we can fix it by having the right attitude. By practicing all embracing attitude, it will lead us to greater satisfaction. Second concept is inner strength and joy. The satisfaction I mentioned just now is the second concept of stoic mindset, which is to practice to avoid and maintain our inner strength and joy. Being a stoic doesn't make you an emotional person, but instead it teaches us to be less affected by external emotions than of the emotions of others. So our joy and happiness won't be dependent on others, but ourselves. Let me give you an illustration. Say, you love one particular book, like this. You have this particular book that you love so much. You grow the emotional attachment to that thing. When you lost it, your happiness rubbed off as well. And not your strength, and as well your strength. Because your joy, your happiness is dependent on that thing, on that particular thing or say person. By practicing stoicism, you will learn that your joy and your strengths are separated from things or people, but it comes from yourself. It comes from within. By then, we will get tougher and find joy from simplest things, from pettiest things possible as well, not emotionally dependent on it. The last concept is master inner discourse. The last concept of stoic is to master inner discourse, whether to get rid of torturous thought pattern and diminish the strive for social validations. It is especially important if we are to not in control of those things, especially outward factors. Then it shouldn't lead us to negative thought pattern. By then, it is necessary to seek for it isn't unnecessary to seek for outward validations because it's something that we cannot control. Part of this concept of accepting one's fate comes from the dichotomy of control, which is the stoic tenet of understanding what is and is not within one's control. Epictetus believed that the thing within our controls are our opinion, our pursuit, our desire, our affection, and our own actions. Things Epictetus believed were not within our controls are our body, our property, reputation, command, whatever are not within our own actions. By then, we will learn the art of self-knowledge before we try to understand others without sacrificing our own values. And we don't feel the crave for social attentions either, because our lives will be more at ease. We embrace everything that happened to us. By and large, by practicing the core concept of stoic, it allows us to soothe ourselves and embrace our faith with its uncertainty or amor fati, as Nietzsche referred to it. It teaches us the wisdoms of understanding other people and how to be true to ourselves in that vocations or in that practice. Let me close it with a quote. Inner peace begins the moment you choose not to allow another person or even to control your emotions. So let's practice stoicism. Let's encourage all of you guys. Back to Contest Master. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank
Let's give a big applause, please, to Toastmaster Radhika. I know she's not here, but just let's pretend we give her a big round of applause. Totally agree with, I can really relate with the speech. We're going to give her feedback later on, especially the points that says, don't worry about something you can control. That's why I never worry about my wife and my son, which I can control. All right, let's move on to the evaluation speech demo. Are the evaluators ready? I want to call Gabriel and Hans. Which one is Gabriel? I would like to know. Okay. I saw her, but I don't see she is turning on her video. Would you please, if possible, Gabriel, to turn on your video? Can I repeat? Okay, let me repeat. Gabriel, are you ready? Okay, I can see her now. Oh, there you are. Let me gallery view. I prefer gallery view. All right. Now you can turn on your video. Okay. So Gabriel is going to give evaluation of the first demo speaker. Am I right, Hans? All right.
Yes.
All right. So Gabriel is going to give her evaluation for 2 to 3 minutes on the demo speech delivered by Hans. Let's give a big applause to Gabriel.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, judges, and especially our great speaker tonight, Hansa Joseph, to your great motivational speech against the barrier. And it's very interesting, different from other motivational talk, where they talk about how to break the limit and be limitless. But you talk and give us some unique and interesting standpoint that maybe it's okay if you can't break this limit, but you can track your progress. And what I love about your speech, you have these comfortable and nice gestures. You give us like this, give right and left for contradiction. Whoa, right, it will be challenging for me. Left, can I achieve it? And you also say things like that. Oh, can I succeed? Can I fail? So it really gives us this interesting contradictions points. And I also like where you mentioned again the main point before continuing the next point. After you talk about this, how you visualize your desire, and you want to move to the second point, how to track this desire and track this progress. You have kind of long spotting ideas, and maybe we can kind of lost and hard to remember, but you give us and you mention us again the main point, so we can remember, and then we can move on to the next idea. We can follow it. I think it's really great. And for this room of improvement, wow, there's so many great things about you that maybe I'd like to talk to you how to improve this. First is, so I love that your gestures, you always keep eye contact with the audience. Maybe if you can stand back, and so you can have more room to do these gestures, maybe it will be better for you. You can also have more freedom to do these gestures. And well, I love that you grab these points in conclusion, like you talk about your first point, activating your desire, but instead of visualize your desire. So in conclusion, you say visualize your desire. In conclusion, you say activating your desire. But in the main point at the beginning, you said visualize your desire. Visualize and activating has different meaning. So I hope that maybe you can use words that maybe exact same or kind of similar, so we can remember it, or we can know, oh, this is what you talk about, this point you talk about at the beginning. And you also struggle a little in conclusion. I know it can happen in reality when we are too nervous to talk about something, but I wish that you really practice it and focus in it, because what you say lasts, it lasts with the audience. The message that you really want to push the audience is on the conclusion. So I hope that you really practice it. And maybe it also make me the hard time to remember, like you talk about 3 points, but in conclusion, you talk about 2 points. Okay, thank you. And so having said that, with your great gestures and comfortable eye gesture, and adding with the step back and grab this conclusion and focus on this conclusion, I think we'll make a great speech again. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Let's put our hands together, please, to Gabrielle. All of us will give her our feedback later on her evaluation speech. We are going to do that at one time in one sitting with the international speech feedback. So let's move on to the second evaluation speech demo. Toastmaster Hans is going to evaluate himself. Oh no, Toastmaster Hans is going to deliver an evaluation speech for Radhika's speech. Let's put our hands together to Toastmaster Hans.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Bahtiar, as our Toastmaster of the meeting. And thank you very much for all audiences who have been here and watched the whole speech of Toastmaster Radhika. Congratulations for your speech. We can learn a lot of things from your speech, especially about emotional intelligence. Learn to soothe ourselves. First of all, we can see that the strength of your speech is mainly on the content. You delivered a well-structured content that you were stating some facts and quotes in the beginning and mentioning key ideas and ending with a powerful conclusion. You gave us 3 key points about stoicism. The first one is embracing, the second one is about inner strength and joy, and the third one is about mastering inner discourse. And we could really learn from this to apply in ourselves, to soothe ourselves. So your content is really aligned with the title. And about the message, you delivered great message about emotion to remind us that the moment you choose not to depend on other people or events, that is the moment that you gain peace. So in your speech, Stoicism is not just about quotes and philosophy, but practical things that give us practical impact in our daily life, especially to gain inner peace. But after all, every speech has room for improvement. And I've noticed in your speech that most of the time, your pace is relatively fast, or we can say that constantly fast. Perhaps there were too many informations that you wanted to put on and deliver in this 5 to 7 minutes of speech. It is understandable that when crafting the speech, we tend to try to give a lot of information, but after that we need to filter out. So to make sure that we don't run with the time, rushing with the time because of overloaded information. That is just one room for improvement that can improve significantly your speech, because if you filter all the information, you can gain better freedom in determining your pace. Sometimes you can go fast, sometimes you can go slow inside your speech as part of paraphrasing and as part of intonation. After all, I'm looking forward for your upcoming speech. And back to our Toastmaster of the meeting.
Let's give a big applause, please, to our second evaluator. All right, now, okay, now is the time for all of us here to give roundtable feedbacks to the speakers, international speech speakers, and also evaluation speech speakers. So what is a roundtable feedbacks? Well, now we are not sitting on the table and it's not round, so we can say, let's have a rectangular screen feedbacks. All of us can give feedback to the speakers and the evaluators. I'm going to invite the senior citizens Toastmaster like Pro, York, or Erwin, just to give example how to give input, feedback to the speaker. So I'm gonna start with Pro. Pro, feel free to give. Now for the first time we are going to focus on Hans, the speaker number 1. Pro, look forward to your input.
Okay, hello. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, especially for Bahtiar, who really opened the meeting. Really great. Yeah, I miss you, bro. Not literally. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give roundtable evaluations for Hans as a speaker. I'm going to point out several points, and what I like about having the roundtable evaluations, because it will be the speech itself will be evaluated by all of the members here. If you want to give the evaluations, then the speakers will give like many points that could improve the previous performance of the speech. Okay. Now let's start with the opening. Okay. And from my preferences, I'm a person who have a short attention span. But that means if I watch a speaker with a very long questions, I'm not going to be able to digest those questions, and I'm going to hesitate to decide whether I want to raise my hands or not. So my first suggestion is if you want to open it with the questions, let's create a shorter questions, probably in 5 or 6 words in those one sentence of the questions, that audience could click and connect with you faster rather than hearing like 2 lines of questions. And then I also feel that there are so many details in your story. So let's cut the details by segmented it into several segmented into several segments. Like for example, when you try to deliver a story about how the information in WhatsApp is very flooded, until that you get the bad news that you're going to run the uphill. Let's put it as in the same situations with other audience. The first one, other audience will also feel that sometimes they ignore the WhatsApp, and once they open the WhatsApp, they also get the bad news, just like what you experience. Okay, so you can like dissect it into several questions. Like, have you ever ignored your WhatsApp? And then the second question will lead to, have you ever get a bad news or shocking news once that you open your flooded WhatsApp, or something like that. This more like in the drafting works, I guess, and to be able to deliver the stories very short and focused. And I do like some of the points that the objectives or the goals of you having the ultra marathon is actually to flexing on Instagram. The part of the flexing of the Instagram is something that you need to emphasize more, because I believe that all the audience are experienced that I want to flexing something on Instagram. Okay, so not only the ultra marathon experience, but maybe you can point out several experience that usually you can see on the Instagrams. And I believe that you can make some like posting jokes. Maybe you can learn it from Bahtiar. Like, for example, if you use the jargon, just do it. Maybe you can twist it to, don't do it, but I did it and I want it, or something like that. So you can work that. You can work on that. So my point is maybe on the content, I can see the structures of the contents, but in the story part, it needs to be dissect. Let's dissect it and like divide it into several segments, so that the audience will get your story like in the smaller pieces, and then they can combine it together into one full stories with a good message. Okay, thank you for the opportunity of the roundtable. Maybe I will give the control back to Bahtiar.
Thank you for the feedback for the speaker Toastmaster Pro. You know, just notice that so many people use these popular quote, as you said, just do it, right? It's motivational. But I think the most motivational quotes would be not just do it, but just did it. I just did it. I've done it. Anyway, I'll open the floor to anyone here on the screen to give the next feedback to Toastmaster Hans. Anybody wants to go next? Everyone,
can I try, Bahtiar?
Come again? Yes, go.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, sorry. So how to? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Proud first. I think Proud take all the points. So I think better we say first lah. So yeah, I think for the speech from Toastmaster Hans, I think I really love the preparation. So means like your camera is basically very ready. You know, your lighting is good. I can see you full body during the speech, and also you try to engage the audience. So you ask questions, and basically you really prepared for this speech. But probably the point of improvement that I can try to give is regarding the hand gesture, yeah, because you keep doing this like this, you know, and then you repeat it from the start until the end. So I think if I understand correctly, this is about the running marathon, right? And you have this all full body. You can really maximize the stage. You can try to, you know, basically running marathon, and then, you know, then make sure that your hand gesture is have a meaning, right? You know, you don't do it on purpose throughout the speech. And also, as mentioned also by Prao regarding the introduction. So I'm thinking you can ask question, but better you can do it in more probably dramatical way, or probably you can keep it short and then just give us to the story, because I really try to understand the timeline. You talking about you going to take the marathon. Are you already at the marathon, or this is only the preparation? And have you already finished the marathon? Or I'm just kind of confused. Where is the ending here? Are you running yet, or are you already in the marathon, or you on the preparation, and then you give the motivational before you running the marathon? So something like that. So I'm kind of confused how it's against the barrier. Is it finished already, or what? So, and I mean, the way you're is very detailed, as Proud say lah. You give all too much details. I mean, it's like you can tell the story, and more emotional because running a marathon is a big thing, right, for everybody. So probably you can show more expression people face change after the running 5 kilo, right? Their face turns red or what. They say that this is the wrong decision in my life. I should stay at home, watching Netflix or what. So, I mean, you can engage that feelings, right? And then make sure that the audience in your story, you take that decision, during COVID, running marathon is a big thing, something like that too. Yeah, that's probably that I can share more to the timeline, the story, and then make sure you put more humor, and then don't put too much detail and just focus on the story, and then don't try too hard to explain the detail, but please make sure let the audience put the audience in your perspective lah. You're losing your breath, you're running, don't want to disappoint your team as if like that, and give the ending lah. So whether you finish the marathon or not, and then after that you can pull out the message. Yeah, I think that's for me. Back to you, Bahtiar.
Thank you, Toastmaster Erwin. But I disagree with your input, man. When you say with the gesture, maybe that's how Toastmaster Han run. Maybe this is how he does it.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, my bad.
I saw Toastmaster Iok Satrio raise hand before. Toastmaster Iok, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Bahtiar. Hi, Hans. Nice to see you again. May I know, is this your same speech that you did on your club contest yesterday, last time?
Basically, the same story with a few modifications.
Okay, cool. Well, first of all, I see you talk confidently. As usual, I see you always talk confidently, and you have your stage prepared well. Your speech clear, you talk clearly, and well, your topic is also quite interesting about ultra marathon, where everyone will think this is a big challenge. And you also mentioned in the beginning that you never run more than 4 or 5 kilometers before. That would be a good heads up in the beginning. And since this is like a motivational story, let's make it a real story where you can start like you start actually already good that you have a struggle at the beginning, but you can make it dramatized because people love was it the story that dramatized, so you should. So at the beginning, I suggest when you can make it shorter, like you could bullied or whatever by your friend that you were given 13 kilometers, the longest range among your friends, and your friends laughing at you, something like that, and they will feel like you wouldn't you feel like you wouldn't be able to catch it up because you never gone that far. And you can start like at the beginning. I start running 3 kilometers, and then my stomach is so, and then my head is gone so dizzy, and after the next day my body feels like being beaten by everyone. So and then I stop. I realized that this is not for me. I just want to stop. So hard. I can't imagine the 5 kilometers is felt like this. How about 13 kilometers? So you make your audience feel like how you feel. You make your audience feels, oh yeah, this feels your sorrow, and don't tell the result. At least, and then you start to try, and then you don't let your audience guess the ending, whether you actually able to finish the 13 kilometers or not. But that's the storyline. So it's like going to the mountain, going up to the most dramatic moment, and then you close it up with your ending, how you finish the 13 kilometers of running, how you felt and then yeah, but how you're, and then after how you able to put it on the Instagram and check it out your crush, maybe your first crush and maybe your second crush, their comment something like that, and they're trying to compete against you. Finally, they're saying nice to you, blah blah blah. You feel like the most handsome guy in the town, something like that. Yeah, that's something. The ending is something that people love to hear there. Yeah, that didn't expect it. That's about motivational story that that would be great if you can create the storyline like that. And so far that like that, don't. Oh yeah. So, secondly, I saw you speech so many pauses. That's something that you need to figure out. I don't know have you ever practiced this before, but I suggest every time I took a contest, I always practice at least 10 times recording it myself, and then I listen to the recording many times before I join the practice. So during the contest, so that I can talk very smoothly during the contest. Yeah, that's something that you need to practice, and then try to speed up your speech, because in many areas you talk too slow, and which this story should be talked with in enthusiasm. I think that's all, yeah, for me. Yeah, you can. That's all for me. That to improvise your storyline.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Yok. And you know what? I just had this idea how to make the speech more dramatic and successful. Instead of running for ultra marathon, Toastmaster Hans, why don't you think about running for 10K? Anyway, sorry, it's just, it has nothing to do with the speech. We still have 15 minutes, but I want to give the same chance for Redika and Gabriel and Hans for the evaluation. Even though Redika is not here, but this meeting is recorded, I mean. So you want to give her the same input. I'm going to invite Toastmaster, visiting Toastmaster Kayum or Toihan. Please.
Thank you very much, Toastmasters of the meeting, Toastmasters Bhatia. Toihan is my club name, actually. I'm from Toihan Toastmasters Club. It's not my name. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very honor for me to evaluate one of our speakers, or demo speakers, I will say today, Radhika Riasari, which is going to be a representative of Jakarta Motivator and Area J2, if I'm not mistaken, or Area J1, to a division level of contest. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I get. J2, all right. This is what I get when I listen to Radhika's speeches today. First thing first, I can follow her enthusiasm. What do I mean by that? She really used her voice, project the very good voice, the very soothing voice in the correct way in the speeches that she made. And with that, people or the audience, I will say the judges, can follow the story one by one. The second great things about what that she do today is she using props on the speeches itself, on the presentation itself. So it enhanced the audience memory, it enhanced the audience understanding regarding on what that she say, and it makes feels that everyone in this room are in the same page. And the third thing that I would really like on her story today or on her speeches today is she used an authentic speeches. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, when you use an authentic speeches, you use an authentic stories, it never will make you feel tired to think about what's next. Because when it's personal to you, you will remember it today, yesterday, or tomorrow. Because it will never be forgotten by any one of single of us. I mean, like, try to talk to yourself which part of memory that you still remember till today, right? And that's authentic to everyone in this room. And ladies and gentlemen, that is, I would say, the strength of our speakers today. Let us move to the biggest room everybody could have here today, which is the room for improvement. Now, for our Toastmasters Radhika, this is a contest that I would say that you fight among other contestants and you can't see the audience. So what you can do is today for you to make yourself visible to the audience, which is having an eye level of the camera so that you can see the audience as the same as, you can see the camera and it will appear the same that on the audience side that you're actually looking at them. So with that, rather than you looking down, which is going to be like this, so you can do is to make it level and we can see each other together and better. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, come to the next evaluation, which is the unnecessary gesture. What I would like to say is if you guys wanted to use a gesture in the speeches itself, consider to think about it, why you want to use it. Because if it is not really, doesn't have any meaning on it, it will be things about, am I listening to your speeches or am I looking at your show? And I, as an audience, or if I am a contestant, I would rather you listen to my speeches rather than you look at me. Because why? The words play a power. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, come to the third evaluations from me as well, which is to have a very, or I will say more likely connection with the Toastmasters life itself. And why do I say this? Ladies and gentlemen, one way or another for every one of the champion speakers, like our Toastmasters Rio, Toastmasters Erwin, they have a lot of, I would say, medals that they get just now. And in order for every one of us to be like them, or in order for us to be better than them, is to connect your story in your Toastmasters life. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it will more enhance the winning chances to all of you in division level, and it will attract more the judges towards your story. And with that, I would like to challenge our speakers today a serious leader, tomorrow a humorous speaker. With that, back to you, Bhatia.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Qayyum. Thanks for joining us far away from Malaysia. Is that right? Right. So who's going for next? Anybody else wants to give feedback, input for Radhika? Yeah, please go, Pro.
Yeah, maybe although that Radhika is not here, but
yeah, the speech is recorded and Pro is cut out for now.
Pro also not here.
Yeah, so we'll go back to him. Anybody else wants to give feedback to Radhika?
Can I try, Bhatia?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think what I want to comment is regarding the technical aspect, because basically I really quite hard to understand the speech because of the technical problem. So I really hard trying to understand throughout the speech, because throughout the speech I think Radhika only holding his mic like this and just trying, and then there's kind of a noise. I think it's quite and also the let's say the lightning, and I think this is something needs to be think lah. I mean, this is like an online speech, but I think if we're talking about the contest, I think the expectation is people want to see. I mean, if you let's say if, for example, if my house is basically a mess, so that's why I'm using this fake background with fake trees, right, Bakhtiar? So means like you just like that, make sure a proper lighting and then the sound, and because this is like a prepared speech, right? I mean, if you're doing like this is the reporter, right? Reporting live, there's a war, something like that. You need to be you need to be present. You need to maximize your body language and the tone itself, because along the speech is Radhika's tone is just like if you want to deliver a message, there's always a pause. You know, when you emphasize the message, you lower your voice. When you want to talk, means like there's some kind of, if you really want to emphasize something, you can talk a little bit louder or something like that and show kind of the emotion. You talk like that. It's more the way, you know, even though we already know the message and really want to, you know, deliver this message, the problem is you need to make sure that the audiences understand, you know, it's not the way, you know, you speak it too fast, you know, fast and furious, you know, just speak and then spit all those words, it's like rapping. But you need to make it slow down and make sure the audience understand, you know, it's because this is the communication. You can have a perfect English, you can have the perfect grammar, you can have the perfect pronunciation. But again, if the audience did not understand what you're saying, that's the problem. So we need to make sure, you know, all of this. First is the technical aspect, you know, make sure the lighting, the speakers, the tone, and also the message itself. What is the message? Means like, I think the speech is great. I think if I try to hear is talking about the journal, the attachment on things, I think the topic is great, but it's only more on the delivery. Make sure the delivery, I think that's why I think you need to record, practice, and practice, you know, and that's why we deliver a speech, and then we can have this kind of feedback, and then we can understand, you know, what is the room of the improvement. So I think that's from my end. Back to you, Bahtiar.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Arwin. Now let's move on to the to give evaluation, not evaluation, feedback to the evaluation speech by Gabrielle. Please give her feedback for the improvement so that she is ready for the area contest. Anybody? You don't have to give her a perfect feedback, just what you really feel when she delivered her evaluation speech. Just 1, 2, 3 sentences.
Can I try again?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, okay. So I think my feedback for Gabrielle is, I mean, for your next, you know, for evaluation, make sure you have the background, because the calendar is kind of annoying. So, I mean, throughout the speech, I'm looking at the calendar, you know, what is the calendar? Why is it there? You know, something like that. So make sure you have used the background. And also the way you deliver, let's say the room of improvement, make sure you have the law of three, you know, probably you have a lot of, for example, you have 3 points of improvement, 3 of good things that you can note, because you're always talking about the sandwich method, right? You're talking about 3 good things, and then what is the room of improvement? You mentioned 3, you know, don't talk too much, you know. Let's say you have, okay, I like your speech, it's have a good opening, but I don't like your speech, this, and this. Because when you mention, for example, the room of improvement always needs to show the example how to improve. And for example, in your speech, you mentioned about I think you're talking about you love the introduction and what, but for the room improvement, make sure when you mention the room of the improvement, you also mention how to improve that during your speech. So probably what I can say is stick with the law of 3, because let's say if you only mention 1, and then in some contests that I saw, probably they can mix this. Remember these 3, and then they can put some kind of abbreviation in each of the point of the improvement. So, and then later on it's kind of sticky. So, and then in the conclusion, you can repeat that. What is the point that needs to be, what is good at and what is to be improved. Yeah, probably that's my input, Bahtiar.
Okay. Anybody else wants to give feedback to Gabrielle?
Can I try?
Sure.
Bahtiar?
Please.
Yeah. Overall, Gabrielle is ready to talk fluently, confidently, and yeah, quite detailed. Even she mentioned several points. However, this evaluation speech contest is really tricky because you are against several contestants who will talk about the same thing. You know, if you notice the speaker have weakness about 1, 2, 3. If it's really obvious, your other contestant will also saying the same. So how to make you differentiate with other contestants? Because your judge will find something that different, that you have better evaluation than others is by saying something that much a detail that many people maybe miss, but that would be an important point. One of your example that you saying, I remember the good things that you notice that your hands closing and opening saying different message, like the closing saying visualize something and then the closing saying something. That's a good point. Find another point like that. Yeah, like Erwin said, put 3 points only, 1 or 2 points, another put 1 to 2 points that makes that other contestant wouldn't able to notice it. So the more the better you're able to notice such a small detail that have a big influence, big improvement to that speech, the better you will have your score to the judges. So try something that the judge or many people wouldn't notice, but it is something powerful, need to be improved on that speech. It also the good thing as well. Well, people usually able to see the good thing about speech easily, but the something that to improve is something need to be very detailed about it. I usually when doing evaluation contest, I usually just focus on the speaker. I don't want to distract anything. I don't take notes anything. Just listen and focus. Look at the speakers for that 5 to 7 minutes, and then when the speaker finish speech, and then I just write plus and minus, and then crafting my speech, because your evaluation speech is only 2-3 minutes, so it's really short. You have to put something that emphasize some point that not other contestant will say. I think that's my point.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Iyok. Yes, I noticed when you give an evaluation, you always focus on the speaker. Look very carefully, attentively, especially if she is a woman. So, last evaluation for the evaluation speech of Hans Prawira, please.
Hello again. So sorry for the previous feedback. It was disconnected. So right now, just a short feedback for Hans' evaluation. This is what I felt when I pay attention to the speech. So Hans, you put like more efforts to acknowledge what is the good part of the speech. However, I feel the hesitations on your delivery. I don't know if you want to point out the good part of the speech, or you just want to acknowledge that this speech has a good points. So that's two different things. So I hope that because you show this hesitation, it seems like you're not really focused what you want to point out. Is it the good point of the speech, or is this the like more like in the speech content is actually that good and maybe related with you? So maybe the tips is instead, as you know, that evaluations which is around 2 to 3 minutes. Maybe the trick is most of the speakers also want to acknowledge what is the good points of the speech, the sample speaker. But that could be a twist, because if you pointed something good from the speech and the other the other contestant also point out the same thing. There is no difference with your evaluations and the other evaluation speech. So instead of giving too much time on acknowledge the good part of the speech, so maybe just acknowledge 1 or 2 points that are really obvious. If you maybe like out of idea about what needs to be acknowledged from the speech. And so it's better to point out more on the room for improvements. If you can see, or maybe you can expect the time durations, maybe you can divide it into the first 1 minute is more on the acknowledgement of the good part of the speech, and the last 2 minutes is more like the room for the improvements, in which that you have more points to be delivered on the evaluation speech, and also closing it with something related, that closing it with something, some points that you can bring home, some points that really click with you, and maybe you can also close it with the stories that the speakers brings as the closing statements. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pro. Unfortunately, the time for feedback is up. So now we are going to continue with the most exciting session, I guess, that everybody's been waiting for. But before that, the agenda says that we need to take photo, I guess, while we're still fresh and everybody's still here. So let's give our best pose. Who's gonna take the picture? Is that you, Hans?
Okay. Okay, let's take twice. In 5, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is the first one. Okay, and then the second one on my count in 3, 2, 1. Okay. If you want to be tagged in our Instagram story, you can confirm our Instagram ID in the chat box, either public or to me or to Toastmaster Nanda.
Right. Thank you, Toastmaster Hans. So now we are going to move on to the table topic session. This is a session is very a great chance for all of us, motivators, Toastmaster member, visiting Toastmaster guests, to practice our impromptu speech, a speech without preparation for 1 to 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, you're going to have 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. It's 1 to 2 minutes, yeah, not 1 to 2 hours. We are not going to be here for 2 hours from now. So everything's going to be about book, because the theme is books for your growth. So the first speaker, I'm going to just point, somebody on the screen that hasn't spoken yet. I'm going to invite Asa, ya, bukan putus asa. I'm sorry. Forgive me, Asa. I'm gonna give you, because you are very nice. You are smiling behind your mask. As a first speaker, I'm gonna give you a very good questions. 1 to 2 minutes. What is your most? I want Hans to be the timer. So the question is, what is your most favorite book, and why do you like it? 1 to 2 minutes, Toastmaster Asa.
Hello, thank you for Toastmaster Baktiar for the challenge. Well, yeah, my name is Asa, but not Asa with hope, yeah. Right. So the question, what is my favorite book? Have you ever read? The title is Life Driven by Purpose by Rick Warren, I think. Anyone here have read that book? No. Okay. Yeah, Purpose Driven by Rick Warren. Cool. So yeah, maybe Toastmaster Hans already know what the book was about, right? So the book is really cool. There was a point of my life, but sometimes it's happened till these days. I feel not motivated, not for like I need enthusiasm in life. So when I read that book, it gives me a lot of perspective about how to live life. So it gives me a lot of new insight about everyone. Each person in this earth is matter. So some people are driven by ambitious. Some people driven by because of lack of materials, lack of love, or some people driven by past story. So these days, have you think about what is actually our purpose in life? What is actually our function? Whether, okay, just like so average, we are going to school, get a college, and then graduated, start new career, and then start. Just only about that. But have you ever questioning about like what is your uniqueness of your purpose, your uniqueness of your existence in life? So I encourage you guys to download this book. It's really cool. It's really awesome. That's all. Thanks.
Yes, let's give a big applause to Toastmaster Asa. Just follow her advice, download the books. She got 10% of commission for every book sold. So that's a joke. So one more explanation about this session. When you see the background in Hans' video turns green, means that you've been speaking for 1 minute. When the background turns yellow, you've spoken for 2 minutes, means please wrap up your speech. When it turns into red, you've spoken, over limit, okay? So try to wrap up your speech when the background turns yellow. Right, for the next speaker, I'm not going to point out. Who wants to go next? Raise your hands. Don't be shy. That's what you are here for. I know. Right. So, well, first come, first served. Yeah. Toastmaster Erwin.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a quote from the book Catch 22. Anything worth dying for is certainly worth living for. Anything worth dying for is certainly worth living for. 1 to 2 minutes, Toastmaster Erwin.
Okay. Anything worth dying? So talking about dying, it's quite sensitive, yeah, because when my father passed away in 2013, yeah, so means like it really give me the the motivation, the purpose driven in life or something like that. So why you should work, why? Because by the end of the day, you're going to be in the ICU, attached to all those things, and your family will be around there, and then even though you're rich or poor, you're going to end in the same bed. So why, And the answer to that question is after my father passed away, and then at that time I'm still single, still trying for, and I get married. 2 years from after my father passed away. And then I sent an invitation, right? And then my mother said that, Erwin, you should send invitation to your father's friends. But my father is already passed away, for respect, so I sent that. And they come to my wedding day. And in the altar, not in the altar, in the stage, and then all of those who shake my hands, he said that your father is a good guy. Shake my hands. And that's like, oh, that's it. You need to keep your legacy in life because you need to be good and put legacy. And then I felt like my father is a good guy. That's what we're fighting for. That's all. Thank you. Back to you, Batiar.
Thank you. Let's give a big applause to Toastmaster Erwin. All right. Who wants to go next? Iok. Okay, I saw Iok raise his hand. So, tell us one book that has changed your life. Tell us one book that has changed your life. 1 to 2 minutes, Toastmaster Iok.
Wow. This has been a long time ago by my friend. It was actually in 2006, yeah, around there. Yeah, more than 10 years ago. When I was very, very young, I joined an MLM business, multi-level marketing. And this book, I said, changed my life because I used that book to present myself and change my life using that business. It's about from Robert Kiyosaki. Well, it's about how to become. If you want to get rich, you have to be an investor and move to other side. Don't work in a company as an employee, something like that. And I use that to pursue my friends to move, to change their perspective that we shouldn't graduate and apply for job, but we should find our own job, build our own asset, build our own business, something like that. And I was so naive that I was think that was such a greatest book that I have read, and that's the book that should everyone also read. Move forward after 10 years, I'm doing that kind of business and build my business, build my empire, if you said, of multi-level marketing, 1,000 people in my groups. I realized that this asset of people is actually not sustainable because they have motivation, they have their own purpose, and it's not bad for having a job working in a company. To make it short, that business, I finally left the business, and I actually start my career from the bottom of the as an associate in a company, in a bank, and I start my career from there 10 years later. So it's not always, it's when you read a book, don't judge a book not by its content, but also your value, your experience, whether it's actually the best book or not in your life. That's my message, basically.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Iok. Just like you, I also have a book that has changed my life. Well, it's not really a book, it's a certificate. Marriage certificate. Yeah, that's it. I saw that Toastmaster Cyrus wants to participate in the table topic session. Toastmaster Cyrus, are you here? All right. Are you going to use your video or no?
Still pretty dark here, so yeah, okay. Just the voice is okay.
Okay,
thanks.
that's okay. So I think this one fits for you. A well-read woman is a dangerous creature. A well-read woman is a dangerous creature. 1 to 2 minutes, Toastmaster Cyrus.
Sorry, I didn't get a well-read woman.
A well-read, sorry. Well-read
Like-
woman is a dangerous creature.
Well-read woman. Oh, like you mean a woman who's been reading lots of books?
I'm not going to explain it to you. You have to decipher it for us.
Well, it is because I'm actually working on a book myself right now. It's called Mitra. Mitra in Persian, because I'm originally born in Iran, and Mitra is a Persian goddess, which was very dangerous, who's like a Cleopatra in Egypt kind of thing. And I'm researching about that, and I found when I was in Indonesia, Mitra means partner, like a girlfriend, or so a lot of words are interconnected in a way. But a wise woman, it depends how you look at it. If you look at it as a win-win situation, a well-read woman can help you to be wise if you could use your wisdom for your benefit and her also. But if you're looking at as a, okay, if her winning is your losing, basically that's wisdom of her is going to make you look dumb. So it depends how you look at it. It's a personal perspective. It's a personal preference. I basically doesn't really care if she's well read. What I care most if what she's been reading about. And that makes her very different. I mean, like if the topic align with my value or if it's worth reading, because I mean, for me, if doesn't matter a woman or a man, if they read stories, means that they're lacking story and there is, I mean, there is nothing to talk about because they don't have character. But if they read self-help book, something that they can apply to personal development, means, oh, she's or he's looking to grow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Cyrus. This your speech will lead us to the next speech. We talk about women. Who wants to go next? Anybody wants to go next? We still have a couple of questions here. Rusmi, Nanda, Jeremy. Where is Jeremy? Oh, Jeremy Napoli Siregar, and this is for you. Okay. We talked about women before. Now the question for you. You can tell the heart of a man not by what he reads, but by what he rereads. You can tell the heart of a man not by what he reads, but by what he rereads. 1 to 2 minutes.
I'm sorry. Is this a question or is it a book? I don't know.
There's a quote. There's a quote.
Oh, there's a quote. Okay. Can you repeat it once again?
You can tell the heart of a man by not what he reads, but what he rereads. Rereads.
Okay. A heart, right? Okay. Not by what he reads, but what he rereads. Okay. Maybe for the first time, a man is, for me, they're playing with logic, right? Not just feeling, but logic. That's why a lot of relationship, woman wins because feelings are stronger than logic, I guess. Heart of a man, what he rereads. Okay, actually, I read one book and I read it for 3 times, I guess. Can I explain it for a couple seconds?
Sure.
Actually, I don't know. Is it too dangerous? I guess I read a book, The Madness of God. It's just like the devil accused God. They're asking why, God, why do you choose Adam than me? It's like Adam is more sinner than me. I'm just like, wow, like what? Gitu. And I read it all the times, and there was a man walk on earth and saw the devil and asked the devil, why do you choose Adam to do sin? Right? And then the devil said, the man, are you asking? Is there a question? Because I didn't ask him to, I don't know. I just asked him, if you do this, you can be your creature. But okay, from that book I read, it's just like, wow, it's like first of God's creator is a man. It's called Adam. Right? It's called Adam, and it's just God gave attention not just once, but all the time. It's just like you can do whatever you want, you can eat whatever you want in this garden, but not in the middle of the garden. It's just like God told him not just once, but I guess maybe 2 times or 3 times. But yes, that's the heart of man, and it fell by woman's heart. I think it's all on the woman, right? Even Adam and Eve together, I think Adam fall just by woman. It doesn't matter what he rereads, but it's just like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say, because yeah, it's not a good book, but I just love to read it, and it doesn't give me affection. Yes, I think that's what changed heart of man. I mean, maybe what we reread is what we wanted to do actually, right? It's just like example. If I do competition, if I do example like biology competition and I fail at the first time, and there's another chance to do, but I read again, I study again and again, but I keep trying, always trying, but it just fail. And it doesn't ruin our mind to focus on it, then it is what we do, what we should do. Okay.
That's fine,
Actually,
Junaid. It's 1 to 2 minutes, not 1 to 2 hours. Anyway,
okay.
let's
Actually,
give
I
a
don't
big
have.
applause to Toastmaster.
Okay, actually, I don't have any preparation for this. I'm sorry, I don't.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
why
give a
it's
good
called table of
advice.
speech. No, by what you have reread, it seems like you've been dealing with some existential questions, but that's fine. Let's move on to the next question.
Yes.
Who wants to go next? Ivo, do you want to go next or someone else? Yeah. Ivo.
Yes, I
Right.
would love to.
Right. I'm going to give you just a very simple question. Do you prefer fiction or non-fiction? Do you prefer fiction or non-fiction? Why? 1 to 2 minutes.
When I was teenager, fictions would be my favorite. My favorite kind of fiction is short stories because I'm not a very committed reader. What I read when I was teenager was short stories from compass.com. Short story from Compass. So there is a blog where all of the short stories from the Compass newspaper were put there. So I read that. I didn't really get what I read, but I like that. Next, when I was getting older, self-development really my things. I love the books written by Jack Canfield. He is my favorite authors. And then right now I am listening to an audiobook, Atomic Habits. If you are a fans of development, self-development books, you will know that Atomic Habit. So I'm not a reader anymore. I am more a listener. Like what I heard, the purpose-driven life from Toastmaster Asa, I immediately search for that in YouTube so I can hear that letter. Like what Toastmaster Jeremy state before, The Madness of God by Shohni. I look forward to it, to listen to it. So I think I can listen to these books whether I am on my way, or whether I am working on something that is automatically done, like housework or the administration work, which is not need so many concentration. So for you who hates reading here, let's listen. Thank you. Back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ivo. All right, the next question. Who wants to go next? Rusmi, do you want to go next?
Okay, I'll try.
Okay. Try, do or do not, never try, yeah?
Okay.
Okay. Tell us your most favorite story from children books. Most favorite story from children books. For example, Pinocchio, you know, Three Little Piggies, 50 Shades of Grey, something like that. Go on.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to say that maybe when I was still young, I am not a big fan of books. I'd rather play video games and all that things when I was young. But I do remember reading the book of Pinocchio, as you already mentioned that. And I think that's probably the book that I would choose, because I remember when I first, actually, I first watched the movie before reading the book, and I felt like the story really is relatable to me as a person, as maybe when I was younger, I wouldn't say I'm the type of person to have that many friends. I'm not that good of a speaker and all that. And I feel like the whole moral of the story of him trying to be a real boy is really etched into my heart, as that is probably what kept me going after all these years, you know, to be able to find a purpose in life, to be able to make others consider me as a real boy. And I think that's probably the biggest the children's book story that has given me the most impact. It has given me a motivation to work harder, knowing that, you know, the problems that I've experienced in the past isn't something that only I have experienced. Many people have gone through it to face. And after all said is done, you know, same with the book, you will be able to achieve your goal of becoming a real, unique human being, a real boy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yogo. Okay, I still have a few questions here. 2 more questions. Who wants to go next? Okay, Barbatos. So, are you going to turn on your video? But that's okay. So, Toastmaster Barbatos, are you ready?
Try to turn on my video real quick. Wait. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there, you're not Barbatos. I know who you are.
just call me Barbatos for now.
All right. The good things about books, they let you travel without moving your feet. The good things about books, they let you travel without moving your feet. 1 to 2 minutes.
I always, and I mean always, amazed about books that tell about medieval times. That, my friend, is one of the best kind of book that I've read so far. Because also, again, I'm a big fan, and I mean a big fan of The Hobbits, Lord of the Rings, and all of those, fictional medieval time books. And it really shows you how the human mind reinterprets the past, because back then there were a lot of legends, there were a lot of amazing stories that people passed through different generations, and it just amazed us that someone can actually write that story down and make it into a book. The story of Excalibur, King Arthur, Camelot, dragons, all of those amazing legends wrapped into one single book. But also, human minds are very creative, very smart. They also think about the future. What would happen if humans have superpowers? We have Marvels, we have DCs. If we want to know how technologies develop in the past hundreds and hundreds of years, we can just read a comic and see, okay, for the next 50 years, there's going to be flying cars, there's going to be AIs, and etc. It really goes to show you that books that not just help us to travel to different places, but also different time at the same time. So because of book, we learn something from the past, put it into the present, and we always think about the futures and different possibilities. So that is it for me. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Barbatos. Who would have thought? I mean, who would have thought that you like medieval stories? Yeah, and I think you really went out for it. You tried to show us how medieval times works when there was no light. Okay, you guys don't know that. All right, I still have one more question, and I saw Nanda hasn't spoken yet, and also Sartika, Ratna. Nanda, do you want to go next? All right.
Sure.
Good to hear that. Last one. This is going to be the last question, and I think it's good to close with this. Reading without reflecting is like eating without digesting. Reading without reflecting is like eating without digesting. 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay, so what happened after you close the book? What happened after you finish reading your book? For me, reading a book is like open another world. I enjoy the process. I enjoy the story. Even sometimes I feel how hurt the main characters feels. I cry with the story and I laugh with the story. I think whatever the genre of the books that you read, you will always reflect of the story. If you are interested for the book, of course. So if you read a book and you don't know what the meanings of that books, there are two options that might happen. First, you need to reread again to understand well, or the book is just not suited with your interest. And if that happens, if the second one is happening, that's very okay. Not on all books that we can consume. We still have interest with that. Sometimes I really hate when people say, oh my God, in 2022, you just read a fiction book? Come on, it's not cool. No, reading any books is cool. Either it's comic,
either it's a fiction or non-fiction, self-development, a journal, any books are cool. So start read the book right now and don't forget to reflect and enjoy its story. Back to TTM. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nanda. What a beautiful speech. Yes, it depends on what you are doing after you close the book. So now I'm gonna ask Toastmaster Hans, the timers, who are the speakers for today and who are the eligible speakers to be voted the most favorite speaker.
I have sent in the chat box and I am preparing the voting link. Basically, there are 2 ineligible speakers, but it is okay. It is part of the enthusiasm that we talk that much to explain about books. But thank you very much for all the speakers.
All right, I think we can, what do you call that, select a vote for the most favorite speaker later on. Now I'm gonna.
Now it can.
Yes, I'm gonna close this session, my session, by saying that I'm really pleased to see all of you again. It's always been inspiring, you know, spiriting, motivating to be among my Toastmaster friends with very lots of stories, inspiring stories. And I actually prepared for this as a Toastmaster of the meeting. I read a few quotes and beautiful quotes about books that I want to share with you. One quote says, always read something that will make you look good if you die in the middle of it. So that quotes, you know, make me stop reading Crayon Shinchan comic from now on, for example. One quote that really struck with me, that really relates with me, is that reading all of good books is like having a conversation with the brightest minds of past centuries, right? When we read books, it's like we are having conversation with the smartest minds of the past centuries. And I'm gonna close this session by sharing with you that a quote from Dr. Seuss: the more that you read, the more things you will know. And the more that you learn, the more places you will go. With that, thank you everyone for joining since the beginning of this session. International speech mode, evaluation, and table topic session. I'm going to give the control back to our president timer, Hans. The control back to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Everyone give a big round of applause, unmute yourself, and appreciate our Tom TTM Toastmaster Bahtiar. Thank you very much for enlightening these meetings with a lot of jokes. As usual, he is our joke master, actually. And thank you very much for keeping the spirit up. It is a pleasure to see you again. And we are very happy to have you in this meeting. Thank you, Toastmaster Bahtiar. I think you will leave in 9:30, but it's okay. So we are still waiting for the vote to be collected. We still have time for you guys to vote. Please cast your vote. And about the last table topic, is there anyone who wants to say additional opinion? Perhaps you also want to share your favorite books too, but you did not have the chance. Anyone? Just short speech, like one paragraph, 3 to 5 sentences. Yes, Barbatos.
So in terms of book, I would really love to promote this book. It's called 50 Shades of Grey and 50 Shades Darker. It's a book about colors. Basically, it's a book about colors, you know, different shade of grays and etc. So I think, no, I'm just kidding. No,
Seriously,
so,
I guess it is about business development, sales, and marketing.
yes, it is. It is. It is. Keep it PG-13. Sorry about that. So I'm just like what I said before. I'm a huge medieval snob or medieval geek, but I also follows a lot of current stuff like Marvel. I've been following Marvel since 3 years ago, and I'm very in love with comics right now. One of the books that I just recently got, one of the books that I just recently got, it's an actual comic from Marvel U. So here it is. It's called Thanos, the Infinity Ending. You guys know Thanos, especially after he made appearance in 2 Marvel movies. In the second Marvel movie, he died basically. So great cameo there, Thanos. And this is a really good book because it really shows a lot of characters that you don't normally see in movies, like movies in Marvel Cinematic Universe, I like to call it. But also, another comic that I highly recommend for non-comic readers, because sometimes comic can be very confusing, especially if you guys just went in for Marvel, and Marvel have millions and millions comics right now from 1970s until now. But Venom is a really good comic if you guys want to start reading comics, like American comics, not Japanese comic, you fucking peep. Basically, in terms of American comics, you can just go with Venom, but I also read Japanese comic, you know, Nezuko-chan, there's all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. But yeah, if you want to diverse yourself in the world of comics, there is such thing outside of Japanese comics. So please explore, guys, explore. Because there's a good quote, always broaden your horizon, because we will never know what kind of discovery that we will find in another star. That's actually from Marvel. So thank you so much for listening.
Broaden our horizon. Nice. Now, anyone who wants to give your opinion can be shorter, or perhaps you want to share your favorite books, or I want to talk about this, but I don't have a chance. One last chance. Anyone? Let's share a lot of insights, especially about perhaps about self-help books or economic books, or yes, Toastmaster Gabriel.
Oh, this is currently what books that I read dan tidak disukai. So and we often read it. We often found it in Shopee or Tokopedia. So I think it's kind of popular. So it talks about how you accept yourself. And I just read this only some chapters in the beginning, and they have some things that I think really great to consider, like this. Sometimes some people said that traumatic or past experience is what shaped us. There's some people that said, and maybe it's kind of popular, like your past experience shaped who you are. For example, if your parents divorce or your parents hit you, and there's like a family violence in you, you may become like this person. And so it's okay. But these books tell us that no, it's not. It's more than that. Actually, if you choose to be that person, you choose it yourself. So it's kind of a contradiction, but it also maybe it's kind of okay, because yeah. For example, there are 2 people whose their parents are divorcing, and that they may have different experience. Like this person, after their parents divorce, they become like this, become broken or something. But this person, they not. So I think that the sentence that I like about this is like this. It's not that past experience that shape you, but how you perceive this experience. So it's your choice, your life. So it's different from the before what I said, like your past experience choose you. So this is who I am. It's something that you can't control, but something that you can control is how you choose to react to this experience. Your parent divorce, how you react to them. It might be hard, but I think it just gives us another point of view that it's not because your parents divorced and then you mean you can be a broken person, but you can choose how you be. The control of how you live is on yourself. I think it's very interesting.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Gabriel. By the way, let's close the vote, yeah? Okay. I've seen enough voters, so we'll announce it soon. And thank you, Toastmaster Gabriel, for your insights about that. We can choose consciously how to respond, how to digest the situation. And I also believe from Ray Dalio principles that pain plus reflection equals progress. Ray Dalio, okay, he is not a mathematician, of course, no, but he is an expert in investment, and he wrote a book about principles. Also nice to read, although it consists a lot of pages. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's see the award. Who is the winner of the tabletop speech? Are you ready, guys? So the winner is our beloved Wibu Barbados, Toastmaster Xiaoqi. Perhaps you want to... I look for Xiaoqi, but your name is Barbados. Perhaps you want to take photo with your beloved certificate. Okay. Well, congrats. Okay. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Thank you very much. Congratulations. And that is all the main sessions have been concluded. Thank you very much, guys. Let's hear some words from our guest. What do you feel after attending and participating in this 2 hours, almost 2 hours meeting? Anyone could volunteer? I think Jeremy, yes.
Okay. First, I think when Nanda gave me this invitation, I just like, oh really? You have this community? Wow, I didn't know that before. And I feel like, wow, it's interesting. I can upgrade my public speaking. I can upgrade my, maybe my grammar, maybe my vocabulary. And yes, I think this is a gold for me. I want to be a gold digger on it. Yes, not a gold digger like a girl like that. I mean, gold digger in this knowledge, I guess. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
that's
agree with you.
me. Thank you. Thank you
I
so
also
much.
want to be a gold digger, digging
Yes.
inside myself that, okay, I have the golden potential of public speaking. You too, and you guys too. So let's shape it.
Yes.
Amazing. Anyone else? Or perhaps from soon-to-be Toastmaster Ratna, if you want to share, what do you feel after attending this 2 hours meeting?
Okay, hello everyone. This is my first time to join this club, and I'm very happy. And it is my honor. And I'm sorry because I'm so shy and I'm not confident to speak to all of people. Yes, and yeah, this is the great time to ours to know how the topic as well, and the speaker are good. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your openness. It is natural to be nervous, to be shy, but we try to be the safe place, to be the safe community for everyone to learn, to make mistakes, and to learn from that mistakes so we can improve in the next opportunity. So we are looking forward for your visit and for leveling up with us. By the way, we are part of Toastmasters International, and we have a lot of Toastmasters Club in the world, and I would like to express my gratitude towards visiting Toastmasters. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Kayum from Toyhan Toastmasters. He comes long way from Malaysia to here through internet connection. And then Toastmaster Ivo from UI Toastmasters, and also Toastmaster Barbados or Xiaoqi from SCBD Toastmaster. You can also share your meeting agenda, upcoming agenda in our chat box, and we can also discuss later in the informal session. If you want to continue with us, we can do chit chat casually. Okay, and I would like to end this meeting by pressing the stop record button. Okay.